So tell me how, after the whole VAR controversy with the Liverpool Tottenham match, we come back here now and we see that the audio to that play has been released. But what's crazy to me is after I listen to that audio, that guy needs to get fired immediately.
Well, what do you think it's down to? Incompetence? Or because to me, it's rather his negligence on the job. He didn't know that the on-field call was offside when I knew. I was watching the game. I knew it was called offside, and all the fans inside the stadium knew. So how come the most crucial person, maybe not the most crucial person, but the person on the job did not know that the call on the field was offside?
Well, to me, is yes, I think that that's part of it. But for me, the biggest issue with this is the fact that he didn't clarify the situation. It's a communication gap. And that to me is not systematic. That to me is just a personal mistake. Why is he saying, oh, just leave it? If at such a big level, such a big decision, he needs to be clearly stating, hey, that was off or that was onside. Ensure that's a goal. Make it clear. Don't be like, leave it. It's just unclear.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I've seen other there's a show that Michael Owen is going to host every international break where he invites the Howard Webb, and they release the audios of select incidents that they pick out, and that's the normal process. Leaving it, letting it go, possible offside, whatnot. We hear all that. You heard all that, right, from the audio. The process is right. I don't have a problem with that, to be honest. And even was it Michael Oliver, the referee on field? He said good process. It is a good process, I think. But how can check complete thinking the call was onside? That is just unacceptable. If I'm on my job and let's say a product that I'm making is faulty and I'm not aware that it's faulty, and I just say check complete, good to go, and that gets published to a customer and they use it, they get sick or whatnot, I'm not only getting fired, I'm getting sued, anything you can think of in this world. So how can it and the guy needs to go, the guy needs to be fired. I read he's not going to be assigned to any Liverpool matches. What?
He
That's
shouldn't
like,
be assigned at all.
yeah, that's protecting him. That's like the company telling me, oh yeah, we're gonna give you a security guard to protect you from the customer that purchased your product. No, the guy failed at his job, so he needs to be punished.
No, absolutely. I agree. And is it what that says now to the rest of the refereeing committee is that, hey, these mistakes are okay and you'll still keep your job. There's no urgency to get the right decision for them. What's in it for them? They make a mistake. Who cares? Who cares? There's no repercussion for that at all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's nothing, they're all there to protect each other. So I'm not sure what we can do. Do I have hope that this will improve? I don't know. I mean, it happens. It shouldn't happen, and it keeps on happening.
Exactly. That's why I say it's not, to me, is the systematic mistake, or I should say like flaw, is not in VAR itself. VAR is actually good and helpful.
Well,
It's
it
the
can
fact
be,
that
yes. It can be, yes.
it can be, but the fact that these people don't utilize the system correctly, that is where the systematic error is. The systematic error is in the fact that the FA does not punish these things. They're not calling them out. They're not calling them to the interviews to explain what happened, to explain these decisions. It's just because, like we discussed before, it's recently, this season they decided to pull out the audio.
Well,
I
they
know
only
that
put out select audios. They pick and choose. I
they
feel like
pick
this
and
one,
choose.
their hands were tied, I guess. But yes, they don't release everything.
Right. So who is to say there's not much more going on that like is just being thrown under the rug? And it could be small decisions like corners or throw-ins that technically could make a difference in a match, you know?
Corners and throw-ins should be reviewable by VAR. I don't get why.
I think everything should be.
Well, I don't know about that because there's a lot of subjective things. But things like offside, ball going out of play, you have the goal line technology. Why can't you use the same technology for whether the ball goes out off of opposition or the defender, you know?
Right,
And
right.
speaking of offside, I saw them focusing on when the ball was kicked, the ball was released by Salah, right? And that's not the right implementation of the rules. The rules for offside is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys saw this, I guess, funny, what would you even call it? Like a skit almost of this Swedish, I think it's a third tier team, where they found a loophole in the rule where because the offside is judged based on the positioning from the first point of contact, not when the ball is released, the player could literally, have the ball on his foot for however long because that's the first point of contact. As long as your striker's onside when the ball goes on your foot, and then he can straight 10 miles offside. As long as he's onside when you first touch the ball, he's onside. So that I mean, I get it. That's never gonna happen in a real game, right? No one's gonna let you to juggle the ball for 10 seconds without touching you. And I get it that the from the point of contact to the point where the ball is released is probably minimal. We're not it's probably like split seconds, right? But then it comes down to those split hair margins in offside calls, right? I have that's marginal too. I get it. So before I wasn't a proponent for letting um like attackers like hairs width go those offside calls, but now looking at it, they're not implementing it correctly. It should have been the first. This one didn't matter because he was onside anyway when the ball was released or the first point of contact. But now I'm thinking about the game against Arsenal, Garnacho's offside goal. That was what hairs, not even hairs. It was what I don't. It was so tight.
All right, get over it, get
No,
over
no,
it.
no. I'm just using that. I'm just using that as an example because that's the most recent thing that I can think of. But any of these hairs, difference of an offside call, now I'm questioning all them now.
Right, and we have to at this point because we can't even trust them, to be honest. Like, that's the sad part. Like, the referees are supposed to be authority figures that we as football fans and even the players and the managers trust that they're going to make the right decision and ease out the game. But when these inconsistencies come into play, the questions are naturally going to arise. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I have no problem with giving the referees authority as long as it's warranted.
Right, right. What do you think about Klopp's claim for a replay?
I hear him, but it's never gonna happen, is it? Then then
No,
then Arsenal should have had a replay against Brentford
Brentford.
last season. It could go on and on, But I also didn't know that once the call is finalized on field, you cannot go back and change it because I remember like 2-3 seasons ago, we got a penalty after the final whistle was blown.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
against Brighton.
yeah, that the 3-2 game is did it change between then and now? I don't know. I just feel like you said, it's such a big mistake. He should have done something right then and there.
Right. So that's what's confusing. That's confusing about the whole situation. We really need some clarification. We need some clarification, and most importantly, we need improvement. But yo, the big match this weekend. What's the thoughts?
I'm not buying all this. Saka's injured. He's playing. You already know he's playing, bro.
I mean, he's just a machine. That's the thing. Like, the guy's always coming back. I don't know how he's not been injured yet, bro. The guy's hobbling on 3 matches in a row. Hobbling, you know. And to be honest, the man has played so much football these past few seasons. And every single time he plays in the games, the man is literally a target for the opposition to come and physically harass him. Literally, they target him like they don't target Martinelli physically, but they target Saka physically. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his style of play where he drags defenders closer to him just from how he plays, how he uses his body. I don't know what it is, but it's clear as day. You can ask any Arsenal fan or anyone who watches consistently. And this actually goes back to the refs, allow Saka to just get absolutely beat up in matches.
Well, so I mean, how long do you think that this can last? Some people are built differently, you know, and he might just be built differently. But
he's proven that. I would have said rest him against Lens this in the midweek. I was like, why the fuck is he playing? And now that made me scared, but after I saw him come off, but I mean, yeah, like you said, he might be that guy built differently, honest.
yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell. He's still young, but he's taken a lot of mileage, not only the games played, but as you say, the types of fouls that he's and tackles and contacts that he's accruing. On the other side, though, I mean, we know they're missing Rodri. Uh, I've seen a lot of focus on Haaland, but for me, I know he scored 8 goals already, but for me, the focus has to be on Alvarez.
No, he's a danger man, and it's crazy how he's come in and he's always been second fiddle in the side to Haaland and even De Bruyne and whoever. Like really, he's come in and he's done his shift. Even last season, he scored a crucial goal against Fulham to really pick them for the title. So he's a nervy one, definitely.
Yeah, well, I mean, I say that because I think he's been their best player so far. Not only in terms of the goals scored, but just the way he links up the play. With De Bruyne missing as well. Rodgers gonna be missing as well. But I'm not sure which way this goes. Like honestly.
Nah, man, it's tough. This probably the most difficult game to predict because not only the arguably the best 2 teams in the league right now, but both sides are, as you mentioned, are hit with injury and suspension woes at the moment. So it just makes the game completely different. Both teams are completely different.
Yeah. Some things to mention though, Arsenal are currently on a 12-match losing streak, not a winless streak, losing streak against City.
In the Prem.
Yes, but still 12. That's 6 seasons running.
No, it's bad. I won't lie.
It's bad.
But to be fair, we have not looked like this 6 seasons running.
Well, I mean, the counter argument to that is last season you looked great until the City games. It looked like the players wilted under the pressure. And this game comes early on in the season, so maybe there's not as much of a pressure. Remember last season, you were supposed to play City in early September, but that got postponed because of the Queen's passing away, which ended up becoming a later season match, which piled on more pressure for the players. So maybe playing them early on in the season is what you need. Okay, there is still pressure, but there's obviously less pressure with only 7 games into the season.
Yeah, well, pressure is gonna be there. It's really about the actual matchup itself. My counter argument to your counter argument there is that a key figure is not going to be playing, and that's De Bruyne. The man has terrorized us season after season, and I am sick of the sight of him. And thank goodness, finally, it's still going to be a tough game. Still probably won't even win, but at least no De Bruyne is just at least a blessing sight.
Yeah. Like we said last week or 2 weeks ago, if not now, when for Arsenal? But just to finish off, just piggybacking off your comment on Jurgen Klopp asking for a rematch. If, hypothetically, if each team got to replay one match in their history, which one are you picking?
You mean like for Arsenal?
Yeah. No, for Tottenham.
2006 Champions League final.
Why? Because of the red card, or?
Yeah, red card early on. Keeper, we had to sacrifice Perez. I still felt like Arsenal were top in Europe in that season.
Right. Okay. Well, that's more of a hope, I guess, in general. Speaking of games you felt you were wrongly done by the referees.
Oh, I could develop a list.
I know you could, but
one of them against your side actually when we lost the Invincibles, we're on the Invincibles run, yeah, and dog, that was the worst. There's actually on YouTube there's a compilation of the terrible refereeing calls in that match by just the inconsistency. Like Ferdinand did the same exact foul as I think it was Lundberg maybe, and bro, it was like Lundberg gets a yellow card and Ferdinand just gets away with nothing, and then the Rooney penalty. Oh my! But anyway, probably that one is the first that comes to mind. But I could make a list.
All right. I mean that's a good shout.
What do you have?
I mean, I'm not sure if we've been done as badly as you guys have been done in that game, but the one game that I can think of, I still I don't wake up at night, but I sometimes think about is the 2013 round of 16 Champions League match against Real Madrid at home. That Nani red card should never have been a red card. He was looking for the ball. Okay, the foot was high, but Arbeloa was also just challenging they're both challenging for the ball. That should never have been a red card. We're 1-0 up, controlling the game, neutralizing the likes of Ronaldo, Modric, who actually was voted the worst signing of the season that year. Should never have been a red, lost all the steam. And that was the last Champions League game for the manager. So that game, I remember I was home, and in Asia, the Champions League games are at 4 or 5 a.m. So I woke up at 4, 1-0 up through an own goal, I think it was. So we're cruising. The red card, I remember my heart just sunk because I did not expect the red card to be shown there. But yeah, I mean I think that's going to be a popular choice for a lot of United fans. But anyway, this is all hypothetical. Everything's in the past, in the history. There's no point dwelling on it. There's no what ifs in football. Even as much as we like to discuss what if this, what if that, there isn't. So all we can do is focus on the future and the present.
Yeah, and reminisce about the past.
That's all we have time for today. Guys, thanks for tuning in as always. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember to subscribe, to leave comments, and share with your friends. Follow us on social media at FOTBpod. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, and most importantly, don't forget to turn on those notifications. Join us again next time as we discuss the highly anticipated upcoming Premier League action. Thanks again as always. See you then.